Hello and welcome to our video on the Shofar. You might remember times during the high holiday seasons of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur when you've wandered into your synagogue and you've seen your rabbis or other community members blow this funky looking object and turning it into a sound. So where does this object come from? Where does the Shofar originate from?
Well, we have a verse in the Torah, in Exodus, that talks about the kol shofar, the voice of the horn. And that's the first time we get to hear the word shofar in the Torah.
And then the idea of a truah, the sound that we're going to blast through the shofar, is talked about 3 different times in relation to Rosh Hashanah throughout our text. And that's why we have 3 different calls of the shofar to resemble these 3 different ideas.
Now, also on Rosh Hashanah, we read from the Torah portion, we read about the Akedah. And this helps us answer the question of where does the shofar come from? And that is that it can come from an animal's horns, particularly a ram's horn. And in the Akedah, just as Abraham is about to sacrifice his son Isaac, he looks up and in the thicket he sees the ram, and that is where the idea of the shofar coming from the ram's horn comes from.
Plus, it makes a really cool sound.
And I mean, during a time of introspection like this, a piercing sound really allows you to wake up and take on the task of doing tshuva. Each day leading up to Rosh Hashanah, we also blow the shofar. So throughout the entire month of Elul, we wake up to the call of one shofar blast.
Now, where else might we blast the shofar? Historically, we find that the shofar has also been blown during times of drought, during times of fasting, and of course, times of war. But when else might we blow the shofar?
Also, times of breakfast. On Rosh Hashanah, we blow the shofar in 3 different ways. Each of these blasts is meant to emulate a different type of cry.
So the first blast is the tekiah, and the tekiah is one long blast. We'll hear that in a minute. And the tekiah represents the idea that it should gain your attention. It starts off the entire shofar service.
It sounds like this.
The shvarim, the second blast, is 3 short blasts, 3 little broken blasts that equal the same length of a tekiah. And the reason we do the shvarim is because in the Torah, we hear of the truah, the blast of the truah, and we aren't exactly sure what the truah is, how we blow it, so the shvarim is one interpretation of how to do that. And here's what the shvarim sounds like.
The third one we have is the truah, which are 9 tiny broken blasts. And that's the other possibility of what truah possibly would have been. So what we do is we have 9 short, very short blasts all together, just like this. That was pathetic.
That was pathetic.
That was the worst one.
We gotta do better.
Ah!
We're about to show you the series of blasts we do when we blow the shofar during services, and the truah is always surrounded by a tekiah. And because, as we mentioned earlier, the rabbis weren't exactly sure what the truah was, we'll have the shvarim truah, and the truah, which are 3 different ways of understanding what this truah is.
Just to make sure we get it right.
Just to make sure we get it right. And in the service, we'll do this at 3 different points after the malchuyot, the zichronot, and the shofarot, 3 different sections of the service.
So here's the blast of the shofar. Tekiah, shvarim truah. Tekiah, tekiah, shvarim, tekiah, tekiah, truah, tekiah.
We'll end this thing just like we end it during the normal high holiday services with the tekiah gedolah. Tekiah gedolah.